Level 1. Easy money and the first trap. $1,000. You receive your first glossy plastic credit card in the mail with an available credit line of $1,000. Buying a shiny new smartphone seems like a completely safe and super smart financial move tonight. The bank promises 12 full months of zero interest on all your fun, everyday purchases. You casually buy new designer sneakers and pay for dinners at the best local restaurants in town. Your first minimum monthly payment comes out to a mere $25. You feel a sweet illusion of wealth and boldly keep spending the bank's money on completely useless junk. Out of nowhere, the zero-interest promotional period ends, and the bank slaps you with a high 29% APR. Your monthly payment now only covers the accrued interest, leaving your principal balance untouched. You realize you're still paying for a meal you ate months ago and completely forgot about. The credit card becomes your go-to companion every single time you swing by the grocery store. The mobile banking app keeps blasting notifications about your upcoming mandatory payment date. You start cutting back on quality groceries just to hand over your paycheck to the bank on time. Every unexpected minor purchase now triggers a wave of intense anxiety and financial distress. You decide to open a second credit card just to cover the minimum payment on the first one. Instead of fixing the issue, you just doubled your total balance owed to the banking system. Your credit score starts tanking due to a dangerously high credit utilization rate. Your friends invite you on a weekend road trip, but you're forced to politely decline once again. You're too embarrassed to admit to anyone that you don't even have $50 for fun. A minor financial mistake is slowly turning into a heavy, relentless mental burden every single day. For the first time, you clearly realize you've fallen into a trap that will be brutally hard to escape. Level 2. The interest snowball. $5,000. Your total debt hits the $5,000 mark and keeps growing with every passing day. The monthly interest fees now cost more than your weekly budget for groceries and gas. You regularly get alarming notifications from creditors demanding you immediately fund your account. The idea of debt consolidation through a new bank loan seems like your only lifeline. The new bank offers a lower interest rate, but stretches out your repayment term for years. You feel a temporary wave of relief and instantly go buy an expensive laptop for work. Old habits of spending money you don't actually have slowly creep back into your daily routine. 3 months later, you're maxed out on all 3 of your credit cards all over again. Collection agencies begin sending formal demand letters insisting on immediate repayment. You start dreading any incoming call from unknown numbers throughout the day. Your daily anxiety spikes, and your sleep quality plummets with each passing week. Debt servicing eats up more than 1/3 of your hard-earned take-home pay. You start falling behind on utility bills for your small rented apartment. Your landlord warns you about potential eviction if you miss another rent payment. You take out a high-interest payday loan just to cover urgent basic living costs. The financial house of cards of your personal budget begins to collapse right before your eyes. You hide your true financial nightmare from your family and closest friends. Constant thoughts about money keep you from focusing and performing at work. You begin to realize you're working solely to pay off bank interest, not to build a future. Your credit score drops to a critical level, shutting the door on any new opportunities. Level completed. Before we jump into the next tier of the simulation, drop a subscribe so you never miss a new story. Thanks for being here and watching now. Let's get back to it. Level 3. The auto loan trap. $15,000. You decide to buy a shiny new car on credit just to boost your shattered self-esteem. The dealership offers an attractive 7-year loan with a ridiculously low down payment. You sign the paperwork without reading the fine print about hidden insurance fees and dealer markups. The new car instantly loses 20% of its value the second you drive it off the lot. The monthly car payment, combined with required full coverage insurance, devours half your income. Gas money and regular maintenance turn out to be way more expensive than you budgeted for. The amount you owe on the car loan is now significantly higher than the car's actual market value. This is called being underwater. Owing the bank more than your asset is actually worth. You get into a minor fender bender, and your insurance doesn't cover all the damages. The repair shop demands extra cash, while the bank keeps deducting the full monthly payment. You start driving for Uber late at night after putting in a hard day at your main job. Exhaustion and sleep deprivation become your permanent companions on every night shift. Your car needs an urgent, expensive repair, but you don't even have a single $100 left. You miss 2 consecutive monthly auto payments due to a complete lack of funds. A repo truck hauls your car away right out of the driveway in front of your home. Losing your ride destroys your ability to commute to work and earn extra cash. The bank sells your car at an auction for cheap and demands you pay off the remaining balance. You're left with no car and a massive $15,000 debt hanging over your head. Your phone blows up with relentless calls from collectors demanding full payment immediately. A deep sense of complete helplessness washes over you as you ride the overcrowded city bus. Level 4. Medical and student debt blow. $35,000. A sudden ER visit turns into a staggering medical bill for doctor services. The insurance company refuses to cover most of the cost due to fine print exemptions in your policy. At the exact same time, mandatory payments on your old student loans resume after graduation. Your total debt hits $35,000 and feels completely overwhelming. The medical clinic hands your file over to a ruthless debt collection agency. You receive your first official court summons ordering you to appear for a hearing. The judge rules in favor of the creditors, ordering mandatory wage garnishment. Your employer finds out about your debt crisis, which severely damages your professional reputation. You're left with a tiny fraction of your paycheck that barely covers cheap groceries. Finding a second official job becomes nearly impossible with the destroyed credit and legal troubles. You start selling off your personal belongings online just to get some quick cash. Your apartment fills with an overwhelming sense of emptiness and dread for the years ahead. Chronic stress triggers new health issues, but you're too terrified to see a doctor again. A vicious cycle of illness and debt becomes your harsh daily reality in the city. Friends and acquaintances slowly drift away. Tired of your constant financial struggles and stress, you feel completely isolated from society and lose all faith in your ability to recover. Every knock at the door triggers sheer panic that process servers or bailiffs have arrived. You try to seek legal help, but hiring a defense attorney is far beyond what you can afford. Free legal aid offers only temporary advice that doesn't solve your underlying crisis. You live from one court date to the next, constantly under the threat of having your assets seized. Level 5. Fake relief and the abyss. $75,000. A shady financial company offers you a program to completely erase your debts through a special technique. They promise to consolidate all your loans into one tiny monthly payment for years to come. You sign the contract and wire them your final life savings as an upfront processing fee. The firm turns out to be a total scam agency that simply steals what little you had left. Your debts keep piling up with penalties, while creditors file new lawsuits in local court. Your total balance owed, including all late fees and fines, skyrockets to $75,000. The bank freezes all your personal credit cards and checking accounts by court order. You lose the ability to use digital banking and are forced to survive entirely on physical cash. Your entire paycheck is intercepted by court officers to pay off judgment debts. You're forced to swallow your pride and beg your elderly parents for financial help from their savings. The crushing guilt toward your parents becomes an unbearable psychological burden on your chest. Family relationships deteriorate as nonstop arguments over money destroy trust. You lose the respect of your loved ones, who no longer believe a word you say. Clinical depression becomes your permanent state, making it hard to function every day. You buy the cheapest generic meds and strip your life down to bare survival mode. Your place desperately needs repairs, but you don't even have money to replace a light bulb. You feel completely trapped in a corner with zero realistic way out. Thoughts of filing for personal bankruptcy become your daily obsession. The bankruptcy process itself requires thousands in upfront fees for a licensed attorney. You find yourself in the insane reality of being too broke to even afford declaring bankruptcy. Level 6. Mortgage collapse. $150,000. A few years ago, you bought a house with an adjustable rate mortgage. The central bank hikes interest rates, doubling your monthly mortgage payment overnight. Your total real estate debt currently stands at a massive $150,000. The housing market crashes, leaving your home worth way less than the mortgage balance. You can't sell the house because the proceeds won't even cover what you owe the lender. The monthly house payment devours every single dollar of your remaining income and savings. You miss 3 mortgage payments in a row, and the bank kicks off foreclosure proceedings. An official notice of upcoming public auction is posted right on your front door. Neighbors find out about your financial ruin and start avoiding eye contact with you. You feel overwhelming shame every time you walk past your neighbors on the street. Sheriff deputies serve you an official eviction notice, ordering you off the property within 30 days. You frantically search for a cheap rental unit to put a roof over your family's head. Landlords reject your applications flat out due to your destroyed credit history and 0 guarantees. You're forced to rent a sketchy, rundown apartment in a dangerous part of town. Eviction day becomes the worst day of your life as movers haul your furniture out to the curb. Your house is sold at auction for pennies on the dollar, failing to cover the balance. The bank sues you for the deficiency judgment to collect the remaining unpaid balance. You're left without a home and still saddled with a massive debt to the financial system. Your personal life completely disintegrates under the relentless weight of financial ruin. You end up bouncing between temporary rented rooms, constantly moving from place to place. Level 9. Total bankruptcy and asset liquidation, $1 million. Your overall debt, inflated by penalties and interest, reaches a mind-boggling $1 million. The court initiates involuntary Chapter 7 bankruptcy proceedings following creditor lawsuits. A court-appointed bankruptcy trustee takes complete control of all your financial affairs and assets. Every single piece of your property, except for absolute bare necessities, is inventoried for liquidation. Marshals show up at your rental room to seize electronics, furniture, and valuables. You watch in silence as strangers haul away items you worked your entire life to buy. Your credit score plummets to the absolute rock-bottom floor of the financial system. The bankruptcy mark remains a permanent red flag on your credit report for the next 10 years. You lose the legal right to hold executive positions or start your own business enterprise. Not a single bank will ever approve you for even the smallest line of credit again. You can't even qualify for a simple installment plan to buy a basic household appliance. Your financial life is completely wiped out, but in the absolute worst sense of the word. You're forced to start over from absolute zero with 0 safety net or savings. The total loss of status and property leaves a deep, permanent psychological scar. You feel completely hollowed out and crushed by the country's relentless financial machinery. Friends, family, and former colleagues look at you as an absolute financial failure. Finding even an entry-level job is brutal because employers run background credit checks. You're forced to take on backbreaking, low-wage manual labor just to survive. Your living situation is now a tiny, cramped room on the bleak outskirts of the city. You finally realize that the credit system has completely broken your life beyond repair. Level 10. Generational debt and legacy, $1 million plus. You reach retirement age with absolutely $0 saved in any retirement account. Your minimal government benefits are garnished to pay off ancient court judgments. You're forced to keep working physical jobs late into your senior years just to afford food. Your children grow up in deep poverty without any path to a quality college education. They are forced to take on massive student loans of their own, repeating your painful trajectory. Financial illiteracy and chronic money fear are passed down as the family legacy. Your family falls into a vicious cycle of generational poverty and inescapable debt. You have nothing to leave your children except a tangled web of financial struggles. Renting forever becomes the only option for your kids, who lack any startup capital. Any attempt by your family to break out of poverty is shut down by a total lack of resources. You look back on your life and realize it all started with that very first card. One small financial oversight in your youth cost you your entire future. The illusion of easy money turned into a lifelong trap that ensnared multiple generations. You desperately try to warn your children to stay away from bank credit cards forever. But the system is designed so that surviving in the modern world without credit is nearly impossible. Your children end up making the exact same mistakes, taking on new debt just to live. The cycle of debt bondage continues. destroying yet another generation of young lives. You finally see that the credit system was built to enrich the banks, not the people. Your life stands as a stark warning of how debt can destroy a human being completely. This is the ultimate endpoint of the debt trap, a game where almost nobody wins.